up, Jagger? Here. I am on. I really feel like I forgot something. Hey, Chris. I really feel like I forgot something tonight, but oh well. Wrong button there.
Your repurposed freighter drifts through space. As you stare out at the star-flecked void...
Actually, I want that first this time. We'll go back to that. There we go. Boing, boing, boing. Hope everyone is well. Whew.
Hi, welcome back to Gamescape 3D. Today we're going to do a speed paint of one of our little peasant houses to show how easy these things are to paint.
I am hanging in there tonight. It's about what
I
I can say.
Okay, so we're all ready to go. So I got about 3 minutes into it so far. We got the base, we got the roof, and then we have a few smaller components. I have flatboards here for the loft, and then I got
a great surprise giveaway tonight.
Little itty bitty window parts there.
Excuse me.
And then I have a hood for the flue up on the roof, and this could be resin printed.
Oh, that's awesome! You got Schley prints. That's great.
And then,
very cool.
We have a little ragtag door to put on the front with a filament hinge. All right. In terms of prepping the models, sometimes these little holes where the filament's supposed to run through can get clogged up on your resin doors. Sometimes the resin will just settle in there when it's washing out and kind of harden. Sometimes with these doors, it might just be a little off. You know, you might need to clean it out. If you do, you can use a drill bit. 5/64 is the size you need to clean out.
That is super cool.
Those holes. So if I have a door there, I might just...
Okay. Guess I'm good. Can't think of anything I'm missing, but there's always going to be something. Let me do this, just so I remember to do that. Get that rolling.
So we got those holes cleaned out. Should be plenty of room now for our filament, and we will continue on. All right, the first thing I'm going to be doing is applying brown onto the timber frames. And I'm going to use a pretty good sized brush. I don't care about getting brown everywhere for this first part. In fact, it's preferred. So there's my brown again. Kind of on the lighter side of a mid-tone. Now I don't want to use so much brown that I'm filling in the details, of course. If some of the black primer comes through, that's all the better. You definitely don't want to waste your time creating an even coat around this.
That may be
It'll actually take away from it in the end, and it's kind of just a waste of time. You can go do something else. Do make sure you kind of hit the tops and the bottoms of your timbers.
Hello.
Okay.
You're good.
Don't just paint the face of these things.
Because
you're not going to be coming back later.
Cool, baby. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like the gazetteer.
The last time they should be getting painted, unless you
I'm glad we had our power went out like 2 hours earlier today. So
really?
Like, uh-oh. Yep. Or like an hour, a little bit over an hour, I think.
Wow.
I sat down to read, so I would, and then it came back again.
Huh.
Yep, that happens, but not often.
Keep the wood color off of the plaster parts, or to apply this wood color to the plaster parts with any particular intention. And I might
Probably hit.
believe.
Your repurposed freighter drifts through space.
There we go.
As you stare out at the
Okay.
starlit void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi? I
think
thought
I'm
we
good.
agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh. Did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up, I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites. Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, 3 strangers will meet in a dim bar. A veteran zombie slayer, a disgraced general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now describe your characters. How did you do that? I have the right tools for the job.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay,
Except
now
touch.
I'm logged in everywhere. I think
All right, cool.
everything's set up. Yep.
We may have a guest coming on. Not 100% sure.
Oh, that was fun.
We may. It may. We'll see. I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm working it.
Good.
In fact, that means. So I should probably set that out.
A story once spoken
Let's see here.
is ageless. The dungeon imagined without end. The curious are the ones most courageous.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'm always like looking for stuff, and I think I need it. I can't. I just like.
You
where
always
the
say
hell
that,
is
but
it?
then it
Yeah,
works out well
After
after all. So,
Eventually.
yeah.
From countless voices, the castle takes shape. Zagig will test the enduring. Those unlucky.
That was a really cool video
will
they
never
made.
escape.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah.
It's a little loud here, but it's okay. All right. All right, sent that out. Thanks, Blue. All right. Still got some time here. Yeah. This one more thing while I'm waiting here. Copy. Talking to myself, everyone. Sorry. Alrighty. Yeah, it is that. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yep, everyone grabs a sword. Yep.
He's got no. I got a cat up here. He cannot climb all over my keyboards, especially while I'm streaming. No. Nope. I'll show you the cat here. So, good. All right, you got to keep her over. Here's the cat. No, don't climb on those keyboards. There she is. There she is. Yeah. So there you go. There's the cat. Thanks, Rascal. Oh, we got a hype. Oh, cool. So, good evening, everyone. Came on a couple minutes early to show the cat, who's going to be trying to climb all over here and crash the stream. Just like I need another reason for the stream to crash, right? Having a cat jump up here. So,
well, you can blame the cat.
Yes, I always blame the cat, or no. So not my fault. So Anna and I are on tonight. We probably have a special guest hopping on at some point. Good. Plus the giveaways tonight are awesome, and I'll kind of wait until. Oh, look at that! Wow, he's coming on early. Boom. Dun 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 dun.
Oh,
Carlos.
Hello.
What's going on?
I don't know, man. What's going on?
History of the Slave Lords tonight. Boom.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you. So, we have a great giveaway tonight. In fact, 2 of them. Now, I don't have all of them to show you here, but I have them all in PDF. But we're going to go over some of them. And we got 2 sets of bundles, courtesy of CSL Entertainment. And the first PDF bundle will be the entire Marquesa series by Carlos. A5, A6, and A7. Okay. And the other one will be... I have them in PDF. I have the other 2 coming, but A8, I have A9, and A10. All right, the whole series, the entire Slave Lord series, so in PDF bundle, and so 2 different winners. So first winner will choose which one they want, but that'll be an awesome, 2 awesome giveaways, courtesy of Carlos and Amanda and CSL. And how are you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
Good. By the way, the company has screwed these labels for these achievement awards. I'm still waiting for them. I'm still waiting for them to say, GREYHAWK Virtual GreyHawk Achievement Award. I haven't gotten them yet, so that's what I'm waiting on giving them out to you. So I got Anna's and yours and Roger Moore. I'm going to give it at Gary Con. I probably could give them all out to Gary Con. Are you still going, Carlos, to Gary Con? You think?
I am now. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
At first, my plan was not to go, but now I will be going.
Okay. Well, there you go. So I can give it to you, Gary Con. That's awesome. So tonight, figured, what would be a cool topic? Because we had a really good one on Loth and the Elder Elemental God and the Drow last week. We had Joe Block on. I was thinking, hey, darling, I know you're streaming now. I appreciate you lurking. What would be cool, but to talk about? I don't think we've ever done this. History of the slave lords over at certain time points. I don't know. That's what I want to find out, And I think, is it buried in the modules? I don't recall it in the original glossography or even in the 83 box set, Carlos and Anna, them really discussing it. I mean, they're talking about raiders, but they really didn't talk about it, if I'm correct.
In the gold box or in the glossography, no, or I should say in the folio, no, they did not. They vaguely referred to them as raiders, but they didn't actually name them as the slave lords.
Right, exactly. Which leaves, I guess, it's good that it's amorphous because you can place them anytime you want in your campaign. But there's got to be some semblance of, well, when you start in 576, what's going on, right? And then we go beyond that. So, what's up, Will? Good to see you. And that's what I figured we'd discuss tonight. Talk about the actual slave lord history, go over the adventures, which we have a whole bunch. A whole smack bunch of adventures here. some that came out later. But here's my probably my four nicest copies of A1 through A4. Then you have A0, you have the Scourge of the Slave Lords, you have Against the Slave Lords. Got all sorts of fun things. So why don't we just Anna? Have you ever run any of these or played any of these?
I played in a few in the beginning, but I haven't run them. But I've read through them. But we played in a lot of them already before I started my GREYHAWK campaign. We played around in
Right.
most of the old modules, so to speak. So yeah.
Well, very cool. Carlos, a ton of everyone on, like almost everyone you on see in chat there will be at GaryCon. It's crazy. It's just
I'm
nuts.
seeing that right
Bones, Darling, Justinius, Vamp, Will, Giant Stomp, all of them. I think Dragonhear's only one not, and he's in Canada, right? Through the chat here, we got a whole bunch. It's gonna be a great time. So let ask questions as we go, and let's just start this off with going to Anna's map here, and which has got a lot of detail on it. I did it again. Give me 1 second. This stupid thing updates, and then
You should have like a good cooking show. You always have the prepped in the background. So here it is, like the yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's defaulting to display 1 every time now. All right. The lovely land of the Woolly Bay, the Sea of Janat. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But then we have all up here starting. We have it all over the place, right? Even starting over here with Dark Shelf. Everywhere. And then you got the stockade right here, right? And then we go later on for the slavers. You got Kill and Let Go, Suitor Hand. They're all over in this area. But so Carlos and I agree. I think Marquess is one of the best written baddies ever.
She's my favorite villain in GREYHAWK, period.
Favorite villain in GREYHAWK, absolutely, and that's why you wrote a whole bunch of adventures with her in it. Afterwards, what drew you to like the series besides her? Because she's like she's not the penultimate baddie in A3 and A4. She's in it, right? But not the penultimate baddie.
Yeah, I think that when I was younger, well, first of all, there was a little bit of mystery because I remember having A1, but I never could get my hands on A2 for quite some time until later. So I'd heard a lot about Marquessa, but I never really had dealt with her. And this is way preceding the internet and things like that. So
Yeah.
back in the day, you're picking up things piecemeal and you're trading adventures and stuff like that with your friends and things like that. So it was kind of it was something that I she was kind of a mysterious figure to me. And then when I actually did get it, I think I've always been attracted to people and like artists and things like that aren't the main thing. It's like the tangent to it. And because they're a little bit more obscure, they're a little bit more accessible to me. And I just found Marquessa's kind of evil to be very real, tangible, and horrific. That she's going to actually surgically alter you or brainwash you into being somebody that you're not. These things were just totally the horror involved in that was much more real to me than I don't know, maybe someone like Igoliv or someone like that was more the high power magic thing.
Right. And she enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you didn't see a whole lot of evil elves back then either.
No, Underdark elves, but not surface elves. Once in a blue moon, you get one like what, Keek?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there were like exceptions, and then Marquessa came along. But yeah. So if horror is exactly it. And I would always wanted to know who's responsible for writing her up. I think I asked that once to Harold, and he didn't have an answer for me, Harold Johnson. If you want to look at some of the unbelievable people that wrote in this series to start off, you got Zeb Cook in the first, right? Zeb was at Page, so just recently, and then you got Harold Johnson. He was also at Page, and Moldvay for the second one. Then you got Alan Hammock for the third one, and Schick, Lawrence Schick for the fourth. I mean, my gosh, we're talking about an all-star cast. Um, so, and it kind of worked. Sometimes when you get different authors, it doesn't work, but I think this one it works because I guess every year it's a tournament module. And I don't know what year it was. I don't know if it says it in A1 what year that it originally was a tournament. It should say it in here somewhere. Oh, it says Gen Con 8. No, Gen Con 13. So I don't even know what year that was. It's got to be 77, 78, maybe before that. Yeah. No, Gen Con 13 is 1980.
Yeah.
Huh. So that's the first time A1 appears is 1980, and I guess they did one each year after that. Dragger here, you don't know Marquesa? Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat tonight. So we got a lot of new people watching now, Carlos. So
I guess
Great.
so.
yeah, you quite like A02. We'll go over that. So and I definitely have all that. I was Skip. So give us, since you're like the expert, Carl, give us in the 570s, leading up to A1, okay? Leading up to this, give me a guess as to what you think is going on in this area, because it's really, there's no description on that anywhere, right? Like,
Right, well,
yeah.
really, the Pomarge is a very different place up in leading up to the whole slave lords, the whole slave lord saga. The Pomarge, is it's much like the Wild Coast to the north of it. It's there's a lot of fat nobles and things like that. It's kind of almost like if you want to think of it, like more like Sochi or something like that in Russia, where you've got people just kind of it's almost like where we're going to go to almost lead a more placid life. Things that are going a lot more kind of a languid lifestyle down there before things really erupted. That's it. To me, that's what you're seeing up into that point, and before everything goes to hell down there in the Pomarsh itself, and in the Wild Coast.
It seems like Pomage had a kind of a quiet on the side with some flan.
Yeah.
They live there, and it probably because not much agriculture. The sus forest was probably not that friendly early on, so to speak, even back then. So that might be a good reason for it. So there seems to be a kind of a backwater that no one really cared much about until and then the Sul migrations came in and the Kiowish Empire was established, and it started to be dragged into politics, and then come the hateful wars, and the rest is the story we know, so to speak. But it's interesting to see that you have the ancient flan where you can kind of tie into cool things that we talked about last time with the Earth Dragon and stuff like that. You can have
Crovis
remnants.
Too.
Exactly, Crovis and stuff. Remnants can be part of that.
Thanks,
and
Tim.
I can see it more like maybe it wasn't fertile enough for Flan to really reside there. What if that was a place they went to worship and had festivals or cults and stuff like that, even in Flan times, because we don't know the history. We have fragments of it from that leaning into more modern times, so to speak. Those are my ideas and thoughts about it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, what I know is the following: is that it's controlled by humans and dwarves going in through, the end of the Hateful Wars, which we're talking about 105 years. More than that, less than that. I'm talking about based on my time. We're talking about in the early 500s, right? Early 500s,
Yeah.
the Hateful Wars are finishing up, and they knock all the humanoids out, and a lot of them get killed, but some of them come out down through, even near where Altamira is this time, running through the Sus Forest, and then they come out in the Pomarge and they take over. And it says, I always remember the one line in there was some having wiser leadership, which always meant to me some evil humans, right? that there was some force behind it, and then came in and yeah, break off from Kaylan around 460. So that made it even worse for him, Gary. Good point there. And then the whole place, goes to hell. And humanoids all, the tribes all settle. I know Will's got a new. Oh shoot, that's what I forgot. Will's got blue done. Damn. I'll see if I can pop that up at the end, Will. I know I have it in my Patreon, right? We should talk about it. I knew there was something. See, I say it 100 times or something. But what's the best place to look if you want to start doing background and figure out when to get to A0 or A1, how did they get to that point? That's what I'm trying to think. Like, most people are going to start their event if we tell, the new GREYHAWK stuff is all reset to 576, right? So what is happening 570 to 575? Is it rating is increasing? We know of in the Slavers reference, which is set a little bit after that, the yellow sailed ships, right? Continue on afterwards, and there's a new cast of characters for the most part, except for Marquesa. So this is post, but there's no mention of yellow sailed ships that I can find in the early 5.
Yeah.
In A1, A4, right?
Yeah. I think if you want to go into these topics now, there are a lot of good summaries that are written long after the A modules and stuff came out. We have The Adventure Begins by Roger E. Moore has a good written. Of course, the Living GREYHAWK Gazetteer has a lot of that story built in. So if you are new to this, I would suggest start with the Living Gazetteer, Adventure Begins, and these things, and read the overall, read the history and stuff like that, and then go in and read the A1 to 4 modules and stuff like that, because then you have the broader picture. You have a lot of the summaries and write-ups and stuff of the story. That came later, so to speak, and Slavers, of course. But I would read the overall story in Living GREYHAWK Gazetteer and Adventure Begins, because then you get how this ties into the bigger picture. Then you drill down and get into the minutia of things. That's my advice, but that's just me wanting to have where does this come from and how does it fit in the big picture before I drill into the.
But did they have that? Do they have that in the LGG talking about that history going up through 576?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're talking about the history, and Adventure Begins too. They are the best summaries of history, and add a bunch of stuff. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I did not know that they specifically had slaver history running.
They have they have a long history of the Pomage and stuff in there. So much.
Okay.
Yeah, they have good summaries of all of it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, here, let's take a look.
Artifact of Evil, the book Artifact of Evil is great because there's some adventuring in there. It's Strandkeep Castle and stuff, which is kind of cool because you get like an in-game perspective from Gord and stuff going there.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with the slavers.
No, but it has to do with the region.
Okay.
Which to me is the thing. If you want to know a faction, you want to know where it operates and the history of it.
All right. I never knew that there was information in this book about slavers pre-576. So, Gary didn't answer my question. He's probably looking it up himself. Carlos, what about you, man? You just, when was the last time you ran like an A1?
A1 itself, I ran probably, I want to say, late or mid 80s, I should say, mid to early 80s.
Okay, so it's been a while. Same with me.
It's been a very long time since I actually ran the module itself. I enjoyed that module, probably running it more than any of the other Slave Lord modules. Actually, it's it's very straightforward. It's there's a lot of places in it to add and subtract some fun stuff. So yeah, I kind of like that one.
Okay. Yeah, Gary, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. So let's make an assumption here. There's still not a lot of lore anywhere on the slavers pre the A1 or pre A0. Let's put it that way, which is okay. You can make up your own, and we can also say that they had to be raiding somewhere, someone, right? And maybe it's localized. It's localized to both. It's localized to the northern Pomar, southern Wild Coast, and Nyrond.
Yeah, that to me is the interesting thing. The slave lords, are they're raiding to capture slaves. What are they doing with the slaves? Is it for their own use? Are they exporting it? When I read about the slave lords, it seems like, the biggest export business is slaves. So they raid slaves and then they take them. Who is buying the slaves and who's using them, so to speak? And
In my personal work, I have always attributed that to the Scarlet Brotherhood.
that sounds to me like a very plausible. I was going to
Interesting.
say that too. Yeah.
That's where they're sending people.
Yeah. So it seems like to me that the Slave Lords is an organization that the Scarlet Brotherhood runs in order to further its own interest.
Well,
Like
we know
client,
that
yeah.
Miller Joy and Brother Karen from the
Mhm.
Slave Lords, it actually explicitly says in their write-ups that the Scarlet Brotherhood helped organize and fund the slave.
Mm-hmm.
So that would imply that
Yeah.
that's probably more likely than not.
Yeah. So where do they raid? Who are these hapless people that become slaves, so to speak? Are they from neighboring, like the Onval?
Well, again, there are all these small communities that ring the Woolly Bay and the Gurnets. The Gurnets.
Yeah.
So that's something that they've explicitly said. They also have explicitly said that the organization was founded by Stelman Klim somewhere around between 569, I think, and 573.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
right. Okay.
Another that whole time frame over there. So before then, we know that I don't even know that we saw the Fulvis sailed ships, in across the waters. I think that they just started appearing at that point in time, and when
I'm looking for brother.
Do they raid as far up as Nyrond and stuff like that on that coast too?
Yeah, because of A0.
Yeah.
Danger Dark Shelf Quarry, absolutely.
Yep.
So there's Brother Karen right there. There's the group of the whole group there, except for Stallman Klim's not in that picture.
No.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking for his write up. And there's some things in here with people. The Theg Narlot. Right, the Theg Narlot Tarish Mac thing there's Brother Karen right here. Here's Brother Karen. Scarlet Brotherhood agent is a man in his mid-30s. So this is post. This has got to be five post A4. So okay.
So it seems like blue is the port, the contact point for Scarlet Brotherhood, and the export port, so to speak, where a lot of the slaves get exported from the Pomarsh in blue.
Before 510, you're right, Gary. They didn't exist before 510. That's a good point. So, okay. So at some point in the 569, 570, they get formed, and then they start doing their raiding. And if we know from the slavers, which I'm in, that their level has expanded beyond what A4, A1 through A4 is all in this area here. A0 is over here. We'll go that Danger Dark Shelf Quarry, and then Carlos has one up here, right? Moreau Point, right? You got
Moreau Point is right over there.
Yep. So, but we know that the slavers have a secret base.
Yeah.
Up here, right?
It seems tricky to export slaves from that area down to Pomarsh.
They have several major sailing vessels that are actually on the near div.
Yeah.
I mean, large scale. Cogs are not small ships.
And I was thinking, what do they do with those slaves, so to speak? How do they? What do they do with those slaves? What? Gotcha.
It's a lot of
smart.
It's a lot of
They're entrepreneurial. They send them north. Yep, smart.
I think honestly, an organization like the Slave Lords, they're open for business, man. They'll send people.
They use their expertise
wherever there's a buyer.
And a lot of this depends on whether you have your wars implemented or not when the slavers comes out, right? Because if Shillians haven't been conquered yet, then they're going to have an issue getting to them. But if shield lands have been conquered,
Well, they have Alhaster and Zeech. That's the entry port to begin with, that they have early on, and then they get export and so on later on. But Alhaster is probably the early port, because that's the one they capture even before they attack, because he defects, and that might be, he might have gotten a really good offer because they needed a port on the coast for it, because Radagast and Ernst are closed, and Furundi is closed too. So that's probably the Alhaster is the port of entry for the Iusian, and then when the Fall of Shield lands, then Export becomes the next one.
But I thought the Red Hand was independent. No.
Well, no, he's part of the he's part of the Iusian sphere of interest, so to speak. He's, I would say, semi-independent. He's a client state of the Iusian Empire. So yeah.
Oh. I missed that because I'm not a big Zeech fan as it is.
No, and he was written a little bit so and so. I think if you just read the original write-up, is not. But once you start reading the later, when you coalesce the thing into a story, you get, he was a traitor. He joined the Bandit Kingdoms. He defected from the Shield Lands to join the Bandit Kingdoms, and they surrendered to Ius. So he became like I would call him a client state. So to speak, under the sphere of Ius, but not completely dominated by Ius, but one that is probably willing to, and probably it's a state of order that benefits both Ius and the Red Hand or Zeech, because he can appear to the outside world as independent and still do trade, and he acts on the behalf of Ius, so to speak. He's and that there are countless examples of this in the real world.
Yeah.
Big evil empires that are not seen as friendly by outsiders need client state to act through, so to speak, in order to facilitate. Yeah.
So we're speculating. I don't think there's. I'm just saying. I don't think there's a documented writing of anywhere that he's accepting slaves in any of those Red Hand books.
No, exactly. That's not. Yeah, because the slavers module with Night doesn't go into that at all. So this is just speculation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's why I asked Carlos what he thinks they do with the slaves, because I was kind of curious.
Speculation on my
part. But I think, Carlos, I think you're completely right. That makes perfect sense. I think
previous to that, they were maybe selling them. I think they had a bigger buyer than I used previous to their fall, and that was the Horned Society.
That's right.
Possible. Society is
and more Bandit through the Bandit Kingdom, and still
is more likely to buy slaves than I use.
But then Zeech was probably, Alhaster was the entry point there too, because it will be hard to smuggle them through Furundi or Shield Lands or something to get up. So yeah.
The Radagast city is off limits as well, obviously.
Yeah. So Zeech had a lot of financial reasons to defect from the Shield Lands, because he probably got a real good lucrative deal on slave trade and smuggling in and out and a whole bunch of stuff besides slaves. So there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Zeech is the poor man's Igwolf in my world.
Yeah. And he makes a lot of sense as a villain. So in that way, Zeech, that story makes perfect sense. So I like it. It was a good write-up, and hats off to Paizo Hawk era and the Paizo crew for coming up with that, because that makes perfect sense.
I got absolutely, during that era, it makes total sense.
Yep.
I just we're once again, it's cool, but I think it's all speculation that he ever was in league with the slavers.
Yeah. But since we have the slavers active on the Nir-Döv, if they round up a lot of slaves, they don't do that. They need either to use them themselves, and they don't have any realm up there, or they sell them somewhere. And then I agree with Carlos. The most likely source is sell them north, so to speak, to Ius.
But in the Slaver's book, which I'm an expert on, it starts here, and you follow the path, which leads from Slaver's Cove to Hardby, finding out that Alita Norbalos is in league with them, to Bright Tower Keep, where there's another. So there's a Marquesa. There's two Marquesas. There's a Marquesa the Red in the Slaver's Cove. There's a Marquesa the Black in the Bright Tower Keep.
But that's the organization, right? Not where the slaves.
But it's a stop-off point for the trade route of the slaves.
So they send send the slaves through the GREYHAWK and stuff.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yep, absolutely. Those ships. Those ships. They change sails. Hey, it's all speculation. So we don't have any idea. I'm glad you don't
The
go into that
yellow
detail,
sails are
Prof.
actually like are like appliques on the actual real sails.
Yeah.
I read that right before I was doing my last flesh traders / slave lords.
Yeah.
Right.
They're actually able to be removed very quickly,
Right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with Gary. I think it's unlikely that, but that might. But on the other hand, that might be corrupt officials in GREYHAWK who are also cashing in on this trade,
Well,
so to speak.
that's
Yeah.
what Alita is in
Mhm.
Heartbeat.
Yeah.
So she hates Greyhawk so much that she's put herself in league with the Earth Dragon cult, and actually has some Earth Dragon individuals in Harby. You
Yeah.
know, and that's so bypassing.
As long as they raid for slaves somewhere else and not in GREYHAWK, I think they can get away with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's later on.
Hmm.
That's post these 4 and these 5. So let's do this. Carlos, how much time we got you with?
I'm here for a little while.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
And history professor, that's an interesting work for us to do. My guess is agriculture. It's simply you needed in a pre-industrialized society that GREYHAWK is for the most part. Then labor is needed because you need a heck of a lot of labor just to produce food primarily is my guess, and also mining to mine for resources and to produce food and to dig up to do all the grunt work, so to speak, meaning agriculture and mining. And go back in history, that's what slaves were used for back in all the time there have been slaves in societies. They were cheap labor, so they did the worst work that was dangerous
Mhm.
and difficult and risky. So yeah, so agriculture and mining, I think, are the two. And Scarlet Brotherhood, meaning before machinery and industrialization, slaves were the way to get ahead because that way you got a lot of labor that you didn't need to pay.
Yeah, I can really see the Scarlet Brotherhood as a final stop all point.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely,
That
and it
makes
makes
total
yeah,
sense to me.
yeah, it makes sense time-wise too because
Yeah,
this is the time when the Scarlet Brotherhood was on the rise, so it
yeah,
makes time-wise it makes sense
absolutely.
as well.
Plus, the agents are right
Yeah,
in the group here.
yeah,
So, Danger at Dark Shelf Quarry was done later, many years afterwards, as a prelude. And I don't know, I don't know the history on did if Skip. I mean, this was done through Wizards. I thought it was before 2015. Maybe it
yeah.
wasn't. Maybe it was an anniversary issue. I don't remember the details on this, but he did this in old school form. Carlos, what are your thoughts on this?
It's a solid adventure. I I kind of wonder about it as a true point of entry to the slave lords thing, but I think
Uh-huh.
it's solid adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit nebulous on the connection, right?
Right,
You
exactly.
know,
That's what I.
but
Mhm.
I think what they're trying to do is say, well, this is one of the places where the slave forced labor gets used. Is that what you know? But there's no really discussion here on. Let me see if we go back to the end here. I've never run this. It's a lot of humanoids, quarry level, trogs. It's a lot. I mean, it's big. It's a big adventure. So here it says, uh, characters avoid the guardhouse. It doesn't say. Um, I didn't see anything in here that really says, "Wow, next step is to go over to." Am I missing it? Going to the Pomarsh?
Go
Did I?
back up a little bit.
Yeah,
Right at the end of the module, there's a
right here.
keep going, keep going a little bit further.
Okay, I got
Right
Matt.
there against the slave lords.
Oh,
It's right above the map, the page above the maps.
oh, okay. Oh, there goes my. Oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you. Brubgot's links to this larger slaver network are well protected, but the party can pick up some threads. All right. So it's cover. So that there you go. A nearby coastal city that figures prominently in Module A1. So there's the connection. That's it though, right?
Yeah.
It's very loose, and I guess that's a cool way of getting you involved on that. You don't have to have
Yeah.
a real detailed. my
And
stream deck
Dark
keeps on
Shelf
going
is
on and
also
off.
on that forgotten coast from
Yeah,
on the west. You have Nessemouth down at the south, and then go up that coast towards the Bright Desert. It kind of seems to be like if there is ever a backwater on the backside of Niron, so to speak, that's the place that Niron forgot, basically.
definitely. But you would think that this would be very farmed and almost like New Orleans, right?
Well, the Nessemouth Delta, I assume, should be perfect. It's Mediterranean climate. It's
Yeah,
probably well, yeah. So if it were the real world, that type of
it'd be a
location
lot
would be
more.
like the Venice or something like that
Yeah, exactly,
of
exactly.
Greyhawk, meaning it will be a delta full of wildlife, full of
Okay.
fertile land, and it's also good connections in the middle of the setting. So I see Nessemouth as the potential of being a huge connective. But on the other hand, if you have Pomarche next door that is as close to a failed state as you can be in Greyhawk,
Yeah.
so to speak, that also means that you might be raided often and stuff, and you're also far away from stuff. But so Nessemouth is one of these between hope and glory or failed, so to speak. It might be too far away from stuff, but it also in the middle of things. So yeah.
By the way, for all of you who came on after the announcement, there will be 2 PDF sets given away from by Carlos CSL Entertainment. All 3 Marquesas will be one A5 through A7. Where did I do with the other? Don't you hate when that happens? So look, they're still in the plastic and everything. A5 through A7. And I have them all in PDF already to share with you and discuss if we want to go to highlights. And then A8, 9, and 10, which I only have 9, but 8 and 10 are on the way. I just, all right, and hard copy,
Cool.
so I'll have them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be 2 different sets, all right, which is really kind.
Yeah. Carlos, you're so cool because they
Yep.
really fit
Yep.
in as old school modules.
Oh,
That's
thank
that's
you.
Oh
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's your A10 right over there.
Yeah, it's really nice looking.
Cover homage to the great Jeff D.
Jeff was at Page as well, and there was a lot of people there. It was cool. So a tournament module A1. Zeb Cook, probably the least lethal of all the adventures he's ever written.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Vecna Liz, I mean, you're dead in the first 10 seconds, right? I'm just being
Okay.
facetious there, yeah. Or, what do you call it? X1, you get eaten by dinosaurs and stuff. So, I love Dread. Slave Pits of the Undercity, it's in tournament style. It's like lineal. I mean, you know exactly where you
Yeah.
got to go in this adventure. There's no sidetrack, nothing. So Valmoku said he was here when this was first run at Gen Con. Were you there, Michael, in 1980 when this was run? Which is cool.
Yeah.
It's all
at that age. Yeah.
it's all point system.
Mhm.
So and you're just going through trying to get to the end, and there's some cool new monsters in there. This is the first time I remember seeing Aspis, if I recall, Carlos, right?
Yep,
The
that was
Aspis.
their origin.
Yeah, this is so and then there's I'm trying to figure out was there a named baddie in this one that goes on to the
No,
other
there's
ones?
no named baddie. However, the thief at the back of that is Sturm Holtz, who is later named in the he's named in the super module version of it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So they give him a name after the fact.
Yes, who
Okay.
also appears in A5 Kill Marquesa.
Nice. See, that I knew that those connections would be awesome. All right, so that's good to
You'll
know
hear
that.
me say that quite a few times here coming forward.
That's good. So he's actually mentioned in this, and in the Scourge or this that goes out, and also I was talking to Chip and Chet Mitten. He said he has artwork in this, and actually in the end at the end of this too. So he went. Yeah, he tells
The great Mike Bridges does as well.
in A0 and A4. Really?
Yep.
The very end, or
Yep.
I did not know that. Look at. Are they in alphabetical order? They may be. me see. Scott. Oh, even Scott Casper's got one? Oh, cool. Wow.
You also, if you'll scroll down, you happen to see my favorite piece of art of Marquesa ever, which is
That
was
one.
done by former Castle Entertainment artist right over there, Mike Lowe.
Wow. That's a great one, too.
Yeah, that piece actually inspired me to get Mike Lowe to do some of our work for us because I liked his work on Marquesa so much.
She looks much more dark there than in the Slavers one. The Slavers one, she looks sinister, but she looks like she could have good days. This one doesn't look like she has good days at all.
No, and I also enjoy the fact that he back in the day that there was a studded leather mentioned in her outfit,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
actual leather.
It is a and look, there's just some body here with all sorts of stuff all over the place. That's Carlos. That's a great picture. Let me see here if I can find Mike's. I thought they'd be in. Maybe it's under B up top. Let me go up top here. So, do these appear only in the back here, and they don't appear in other throughout the adventure? And this is a compilation, or and
That's correct. They're the contributors are just in the back there.
okay. I wonder whose idea that was. It's a really good idea.
It is neat. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really it's a sense of community thing, you know. So here's the tournament throughout the whole thing. I'm sorry, I scrolled way too through. All right, let me see what we got here. So we got Bernardo, Carlton Stevens. I'm just looking for Mike's. A lot of these people, I don't know who they are, which is really cool. A lot of fan art made it in here. It looks. There's Chet's. Oh, that's great. That's Chet's. Nice.
Unmistakable.
That's an ode to the Rogues Gallery picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's an ode to that Rogues Gallery picture. Hey, Chuck, what's going on, dude?
Hello.
Alrighty. Let's see. Ian Bagley, Jonathan Bingham, Navarro, Greg Allen, John C. I'm trying to find Mike's. Joey Dallas. We already went. Diaz. Scott and Kanan's there. There it is. Cool. Was that another Marquesa one, you think?
Sure is.
Yeah. Awesome. Great to see from Mike. Awesome. Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's great. But you're right. That Mike Lowe one is unbelievable. That is fantastic. All right. Well, great to know. You
asked about the original. The original only exists in digital.
What, his?
Yeah, I wanted to buy the original.
Just like I wanted to buy the Wayne Reynolds one, and that's long gone.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned it to you, because I thought you might be interested in it too, and it only exists in digital.
That's such a shame. Can you imagine that? Did he do the art for Expedition? Michael, I don't know. Expedition of Ruins of GREYHAWK, he may have. He may have. I do not know that. All right, so A1, there are no named baddies that we know of that are well known to us all into the world of here are the slavers, and but A2 and trivia question. When was the last time you think I ran this?
I'm gonna guess you ran it at a Gary Con.
No, I ran it live stream a couple months ago.
Okay.
So what happened was the following. I said, here you go. It's on the table. I said to my guys, a special mission was set up for the group that the stockade had come back in power, and there was I put some new people, some new baddies in there and all, but a lot of the original monsters, like they had the frickin' boggles in there, right? And we did and Curtis played in this adventure as well. So look, there's the suction mud area and all the multiple walls and the inside, you know. So it was 3 weeks of There's blow up on the inside of it. Yeah. 3 weeks of adventuring in this, and then I got the inside done for the earlier, and there's the entrance into the area where the fountain is, and also took a long time to, and then I had to tear it down and expand on it the next couple weeks, but it was fun. And this is how. Oh, look at that, Bracker! Thanks, man.
Jay, this is a case of great minds thinking alike here, because my module 8.8 actually takes place in the Fallen Stockade as well. And much like you, I reimagined it as what would have happened had
I did not.
had it been kind of reignited.
That's amazing because I haven't gotten that one yet. I haven't even looked at the PDS on that. I have 8
Yeah,
9,
so
which
if
I've
you
been
want to see what a
prepping.
map of the Fallen Stockade looks like,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
you can
Yeah,
take a look
after
at it.
they raised
Actually,
this.
used what happened in the time that I played in that module as a younger man, as the kind of the canon of what happened to the stockade, and it turned out pretty well, I thought. The map was a pain in the ass to make, boy, but
Yeah, well, look at this. This is the best I could do. Trying to put the stockade up on the
you did a
table.
great job. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's a lot of it's Gamescape 3D and a lot of it's old crafts by Bill and stuff. And the main thing is we had fun with it. So, and I was thinking that if there's ever a long Founders and Legends weekend, that's why one of the reasons, another reason why I want to do this and to have it as a return to, because just like I did Thursden, 3 sessions sitting, I could do that again for a weekend. This whole thing, it's one of those I could handle. Because Thursden was rough running that day after day at Founders and Legends, but yeah. So there you go. All right, so your A8 is A2 return.
Yep.
Return. Wow, I did not even know that, man. That is awesome.
And the adventure is probably the biggest module that I've ever made. It's called From Dark Roses Blackthorns Grow, and obviously the slave lords involved in it are Icar and Blackthorn.
Well, here we go. 1 second here. Boom. I do have it.
Awesome.
Yep, I do. I picked up this in A10 and
Icar and Blackthorn.
yes. So let's take a look here. Maps in the back.
Well, thanks.
Yep. Look at that. There's the entrance where the fountain is and everything. That's so cool.
Mhm.
Wow, you're right. I did not even know. That is so fantastic.
If you'll take a look at all that rubble and everything, those were collapsed ceilings and things like that, because it was attacked with fire.
Yep. Yeah.
It was.
The underground wouldn't be that damaged because it's underground, right? So, for the most part. But that is cool, man. I did not. Yeah, really cool. Nice. So the outside's completely destroyed.
Not quite completely. There's a lot of things that are fallen in there. Actually, Justinius was a playtester in that.
Oh, cool.
And Justinius got to see, if I remember correctly, he got to see exactly how I run Lightning Bolt when you fire it in an enclosed area.
Nice, and it bounces all over the place.
Yeah. Well, also I don't think people really think about how powerful lightning really is, especially a lightning stroke from an accomplished magic user. You're talking about basically a 3-foot column of a meter wide column of plasma, coming.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary. Yeah, that's the one, Justinius. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then and then you're able to fork it too. And a lot of spellcasters, I don't know if you can fork it in 5th edition, but a lot of old school spellcasters,
it sure forked the mana core that it hit.
Yeah. That is Skullbuster. So A2 introduces some names, right?
Mm-hmm. Give
me some big names that are introduced in here. There's Marquess. There you go, right here.
Icar Blackthorn.
Icar Blackthorn, yep. Marquess is 5/5 in here. Icar Blackthorn, there's one other one. What's this?
Her assistant, the Goblin, is another one.
Yeah. There's Carl Star, Weir Thuther, Kivens Trist. So actually,
Gouliot.
What's that?
Gouliot, the Goblin witch doctor that is her assistant.
Yep.
Executioner, the ogre.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Executioner's one I'm thinking
Icar's
of.
lieutenant.
He messed them up, the Executioner. He
Yeah.
messed the characters up. I think he messed up.
I would later decide in A8 that Icar, when he escaped the stockade, did so with the Medusa that is in there, who is charmed, and that is sort of his girlfriend now. Ioana, I believe her name was.
Oh, and this is the droning area too with the Clucker Lord, right? They're sitting in there and they're all like, and it's just droning on them. Yeah. This
Yeah, the cloakers.
it was a it,
Monsters I absolutely adore, or monsters I absolutely adore.
so let me see here. That was Luke Guy actually sent me a message. Good for Luke.
You want to come on and discuss the slave?
He's actually helping me out with something, which is really cool. All right. So Marquesa first appears here. She's only 5'5". It's one of those, wow, I wish you could have killed her off then, but no, that would have ruined it. Just like...
Well, you kill her off, I'm in trouble for about 5 modules.
It's like a Bond movie when you kind of write yourself into a corner and then you have to kind of renew and come back again. Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing how you've done that over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says right here, Blackthorn cannot see any excuse for removing Marquesa. Sent by Slave Lord's keeping an eye on Marquesa in his operation. Personally, he's appalled by her experiments and doubts her abilities to run such a large operation. Probably true. She's got her own things going on. Yeah, absolutely. Man, dude, I'm like, that's so awesome that you did A8 as an A2 return. That's so cool. So I may have to run it as a return to a return down the road. A couple of years down the road. No, seriously. A couple of years down the road, it's ruins and again, so yeah. Hey, Wiley.
There's a lot of value in that dungeon because it's very difficult the way it's set up to explore everything in one go round.
Yeah, true.
When your players revisit it, they're liable to see things they never saw before.
That is true. And that happened, through the sessions. They got beat to hell, but they got their main objective. They got all, of course, Marquesa got away, and they got all, they got to the point where they were like, we got to get out of here. We've done our mission's done. All right, so A3, assault on the area of the slave lords. By the way, if we come to this map here, the stockades here. I forget where the area is. Irie of the slave lords. So, all right, let's go back here.
You're almost right there on your icon. If you're looking for Suderham, it's right under.
Oh yeah, Suderham. Yep, there you go.
Armstraw Mountains, if that's what you're looking for.
Yep, right there. The Irie. Here we go. That's in ruins at this point. So this is the one that gives the most consternation to people. Well, I gotta trap them, right? So ways around that.
Super railroady.
It is. So what do you do? What would you do in difference to that? Would you just figure out a way to get them to A4 from this instead, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't run A4 the way it's constructed. Period.
Right.
To be honest with you, I would let the final denouement of the thing be in A3.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam's got it right there in the chat. That's exactly my feeling on it. Yeah. A4 it's a fine module. It's just the whole conceit of it is it's so railroady that and so heavy-handed. I couldn't do that to my players.
Okay. Very cool. Main characters in A3.
Everybody.
They're all here.
Yeah. The big guns.
All the existing ones that you are going to come across. Let me see if I thought they were listed at the end. Are they?
I'll try and do this in order.
Yep.
Stelman Klim.
Yep.
A Jock Stew.
Yep.
Brother Miller Joy. Ian Wolf / Feetla. Eldrave,
There you go.
Slippery Keta,
Yep.
Lamiston, Blazy, Thegnarlet slash
Tarshmak.
Turshmak, and
But he's just Thegnarlet in here.
I'm missing somebody. Narrowless.
Okay.
There's your 9.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it wasn't to the point where that had made its. That was a Carl Sargentism, right? Connecting Thegnarlet and Tarshmak.
Right.
One of the things a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, I don't know about that. So, yeah,
I'm actually okay with it.
yeah.
I'm all right. Mm-hmm. But I'm a sergeant apologist too, so whatever you.
No, it's okay. It's absolutely okay.
I'm way worse than you in that sense. I like a lot of what Carl Sargent did.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah.
what I mean. Is
Mhm.
I'm a huge supporter.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I think he elevated the setting in a lot of sense, but he also got something that did some things that I didn't like much. But overall, I think it was a plus for the setting.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you can take. I don't think you can look at him in terms of just single things. You have to look at the whole body of work. And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In terms of the entire body
And-
of work, I think he was a net huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even some of the things that I hated in the beginning that he threw the Horde Society under the bus. I've made possible to make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak. He gave me lemons and so on, and some of the other stuff was that he made the elves too Tolkien in my opinion, but that was another one. But apart from that, I think a lot of the stuff was fantastic.
Yeah, the only thing Sergeantism I can't stand really is Philidor.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say no blue wizards.
Exactly, those are little nitpicky little things here. And
No,
there,
no, no. Moonbow. I hate the Moonbow too.
Yeah, but that was part of Tolkienizing the elves. Yeah,
I could take or leave it.
yeah. I'm okay, but yeah, but Turushmak and making the Pomarsh get like a second comeback, so to speak. That to me is cool because it kind of makes a lot of sense that someone united it and took care of simply made use of the turmoil in the world, so to speak, because when a lot of bad things happen in other places, then little local warlords pop up everywhere just because they get a chance. So yeah.
Old DM, true, but then they go to Kaelin Lekos anyway in the slavers, so you're close enough, right? All right. So you're railroaded into A3 to get to A4, but there's other ways you can run A4, right? You don't have to run it from the bottom up. It is cool though. You strip down to a loincloth and got to escape. It's different. Boy, is it different for a lot of players, you know. And yeah, getting out is. And my thought is, gosh, I hate to say this, but the slave lords are dumb leaving adventurers alive, right? I mean, my gosh. So, but that's
finish your opponents when you have a chance.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But if you're a slave trader, that might be part of your MO, so to speak, to
yes,
you're
but,
after money. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like that. But
And then the player should have woken up in the Scarlet Brotherhood.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like you're. It's smart to leave 8 Spartacuses lying around.
No,
you know what
no,
I mean?
you
Yeah.
don't.
So yeah, but instead of just one. But so with this, they you know, the penultimate fight, they get out, they find their gear, and then the slave lords flee, right? Or attempting to flee at the end, if I recall. There's a cave fisher. I used to love cave fishers. And they're all in the end here. I think there's a great picture, if I recall, of the whole crew at the end here. Or am I hallucinating?
Yep. Hello, Sudrak. Yep.
It's good to see you, Michael.
Yep.
There you go. Yep. That is a Diesel? Or is that Errol Otis?
Errol Otis.
That's Errol Otis. Okay, cool.
And this is one occasion where I'm going to have to toot the Castle Entertainment horn a little bit.
Please.
For Slippery Cat crushes that like a grape.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And there's
I
a dark
can't
elf
talk
in here
very
too.
often about your Lotus either, but my cover artist for A9 really did a nice job with.
Well,
Kinda.
I really love A9.
Oh, thank you. She also appears on the cover of A10.
Yeah. So
yeah. That's my girl.
we've been trying to tie that adventure in to run it in our Harby series.
Okay.
I'll talk about that in a bit here. What's going to happen with because remember, in my world, Nakesh is still alive, 100%. Because they ran the slavers, they never took her out. I have not run your Marquesas. I don't know if I want to run them because I don't know if I want her dead eventually. So I'm
Well, she
thinking,
can come back. Yeah, come back in very
yeah, I
strong
know, I
ways.
know.
As
But
you know, in A9,
yeah,
there is a
yes,
for everybody that talks about A9, they miss something very important in A9, and that is the opportunity in A9 exists for Marquesa to come back.
yeah, absolutely. Because something's stored there. Oh, I know the adventure pretty well, man. I've been, and in fact, we added an entire ship-to-ship encounter pre with all the ships that we have. It's just a matter of what's up, Naz. 74 months, dude. Where'd all the time go?
Yeah, Dark F Twilight, Castle still has AD&D stuff. Or do you? So Carlos is still you write for us now, right? Or AD&D?
Yep,
for
and
us?
I
Hold on
was
one
just
second.
answering him.
I'm trying to
on,
get my stream deck to work
awesome.
here.
Yep.
It's giving me problems, so I can shout stuff out. Give me a sec here.
Yep, that's good.
It's
yes, Justine, yes, I did. A10 was the last in the series, Crescendo and Coda. But yeah, the answer to the answer to the question is I do continue to write stuff. It's all for Osric 1E. And as far as Marquesa goes, yeah, like I said, A9, the whole reason why Slippery Keta has her big oh, we're frozen.
That was me. I hit I pulled out the wrong thing trying to fix. Yeah, are we good still? We didn't crash.
Yeah, we're apparently on.
Yeah, no, I think we just crashed. I think we're on.
Stream.
Yeah, I think we're still streaming.
Okay, good.
I think.
Yeah. We'll see in 10 seconds or 15
Yeah.
seconds.
Well, in any case, the whole reason that
there we go. We're still there.
The whole reason that Slippery Keta has her little ghost cat lock, her little headquarters there is to protect a clone of Marquesa.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
And I got my stream deck here, so
yep.
That's what I wanted for shout outs.
And Jay, you can also apologize to your players on my behalf for that missed giant encounter.
Uh-oh.
No problem. It's I love the cove entrance and all that in it. So, there's some good opportunities in A9. Yeah. So so there's a dark elf in here, which is kind of novel for the time on the surface. You know, what's his name? Eldrov?
Eldrov, yeah.
Eldrov, yeah. Yeah. A drow fighter cleric. I don't think she's from a house. So there's not a lot of background on her.
She's an escapee from
High
Sinlu.
Yeah, barely escaped from the board of Q. So that means she may be, she may be an Elseer. We just don't know. Because remember, that's how they think the Elder Elemental guy. We're talking about this last week because they tried taking over and then they said no more Loth and all. So it's a possibility. But really cool. And they got an illusionist. They got Stom and Klim's here. How does this fight go in the end? And then a lot of these guys turn up in the slavers. So I guess it's like that's some of the things that like you gotta give creative license that these people are going to come back even if you're completely successful. Some of them, right? Clones or whatever. Yeah, you gotta take a license. It's tough. That's a great balancing act that DMs have to do. In adventures. So I think it's clear that she works for a Clavra. Well, there goes my freaking stream deck again. It's going on and off. I'm not going to unplug and plug it. Yeah, something's wrong. There we go. Stay on. I'll keep on working on as we go. Okay. So through A4, let's go time frame. let's go your time frame here, Carlos. So A5, is it after A4 or after Slavers?
Is after Slavers.
It's after Slavers. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So Slavers, which is one of my favorites of all time, and here's my favorite picture right
I
there.
agree. I think Slavers
Yep.
is wonderful.
Hmm.
Yes, it's a great. It also gives you a lot of variety throughout this book. It incorporates three actually specialty priest classes: Derek Dragon, Merlin, and Kellenin. Right, so you can get them. A lot of really cool, unique magic items. Some really great developed new characters like Davis the Reaver and Pyera. My favorite's I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. The Fallen Mayhem Paladin, who just has a obsessive collector. He's he's a slave lord now because he just likes collect. He's lawful neutral.
That would be Unjin.
Ungen. Yeah, that's it. He just loves collecting stuff. I mean, because he I think he got um, got sonic blasted or something. Something happened to him, and he turned into and he had a mental disorder, right? So this is really driving me crazy. All right, so I'm not able to shout anything out right now, everyone. So just note. All right, so what what I love about this, it goes,
Go ahead.
it talks about all the other Marquesas, all the clone Marquesas are in here. Right, and I've made up other ones too. I've made up Marquesa the Silver, Marquesa the Copper, and it even talks about this Marquesa the Green that's wandering about, she lost control of. So she's part of my campaign. But you got Marquesa the Black, you got Marquesa the Red, Marquesa the Gold, right, in here as well. So you got four other Marquesas in here, which I thought was brilliant writing. That her actual clones are. Scarlet Watch is running this every Wednesday night. I was just over there.
So,
oh, cool.
Jay, I'm going to make a comment that might be heretical here
That's
as
all right.
far
Uh-oh.
as it goes, but my opinion is this:
Oh, yep.
the Marquesa that you meet in A2 is actually a clone
Makes
of
sense.
Marquesa. She's
Yeah.
not the real one, and the reason I say that is because if you notice her statistics, she went real fast from 5th level fighter, 5th level magic user to 10th level. Too fast, in my opinion.
I love it. I love it that you.
So you're actually meeting the
yeah.
real Marquesa in Slavers, whereas the Marquesa in A2 is a clone, which is how she ends up appearing later. Ooh, yes, I know, PS. I know.
And another thing, Gary, I love about Unjin is it says in there, the last line, it says, I think Marquesa has approached him for relations, but even he doesn't go that far.
Right. He rebuffed her.
He's like, no, his alliance with evil only goes so far. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So everything about this is, the maps are of Highport and of divers and all aren't great.
Right. But that was the age in the late 90s when the production values shot through the roof. I think this is one of the adventures that was put out when Wizard of the Coast had just bought TSR, I think, in the late 90s.
Yep.
It was one of these that was written earlier probably and then published in that bundle of stuff they pushed out the door. Adventure Begins was part of that era of products too, I think.
And I'll be honest, before I met Anna or any of this community, and like going back, I've only been around 7 years now. It seems like an eternity, right? But this is my go-to map for the area. This right here. Mm-hmm. This is it. It's got everything on it you need. Look, it even shows 4 to 5 star cans. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, and the Ruins of Nold, and this is what's weird. Someone said, you know what, there's a great dungeon adventure. Let's put it on here. Like they even put Noldare on the map, which is really just...
yeah, but Slavers is also part source book, part
yes,
adventure.
Exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's half source book, half adventure. Yeah.
Yeah. A Frogmark could brave a fungus infection. Oh, man, that's still one of the funniest things I've ever heard on it. Carl, you ever hear about that? When I had Rob Kuntz on, he talked about having a weekend with Zook Rumbler.
That explained all that.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's some easy section.
The Slavers 2E, yes, because the specialty priests are in here. It's during the 2E era. Yep, Slavers and
Oh,
Scarlet
yeah.
Brotherhood, both 2E books.
That was
Yeah.
very late 2E. That was just a couple of years before 3E was
Yep.
published.
I mean, nah, it's okay. I mean, that's just like it's just
That map of Nirdiv or
of
of
divers,
divers is not good, in my
right?
opinion. It's not. Yeah, LG actually has a better map of divers, way better.
There's a lot of the community's done a lot of really good work here. Like there's the Cove. I think there's a picture of Marquesa the Black in here, and the Gold. I
There
think,
is.
yeah. So and it's all and this is my favorite artwork. And when I met Wayne Reynolds at Gary Con and he Gen Con that one year, Anna, we all went and he told
Yeah.
me it all got destroyed. My heart fell.
Yeah, I
I was like,
remember you came to talk to me in the booth
there,
just
there's
after you
Alita.
talked to him, and yeah.
Oh my god, I was so upset.
Yeah.
So upset. So this is the penultimate baddie in my campaign in Harby. This is the one that had the War of Michael Baton and beat Michael Baton in the very end, and that's Alita. Burned the Temple of Zilchis with all the Zilchis priests in alive in broad daylight as it got that bad. So yes, and I have actually had that on stream. I have it on fire, and just yeah. So that war got really. That was a fun time though for us in Harby. So the evil won that out. That's Bright Tower Keep. So many so many great. I used the word penultimate again. So many great locations. Some great characters in here too. And someone pointed out that this guy's a dwarf. I didn't realize for 15, 20 years that this is a dwarf priest of Hexter, not a human. I didn't even know that. I mean, Henry Blurred did not even realize that he was a dwarf, which is I think makes it even better. So, yeah. So Carlos? What are your thoughts on how you implemented this into the whole storyline with killing Lekos and the Dragonels and the yellow-sailed ships and what time frame do you place this?
Well, for me, 100% honestly, I've never run Slavers.
Okay.
It's a historical document for
Yep.
me. So it is right between for me between A4 and when I take off from my stuff on A5.
Okay.
So that's it's like your 591 through 595 era.
All right, so it's post wars.
Yes, where for me all my stuff starts at 600. So
okay, all right, that's good. So,
but yeah, I mean, for as much as to me, the canon that Slavers added to the original Slave Lords is indispensable. It's
fantastic.
It's just fabulous document. I think that it's a great regional document, and it also is a great document as far as improving and adding and expounding upon the Slave Lords organization. A lot of the characters that are involved in there, like Piera,
Rurik the Taskmaster.
And
what a great character!
Those guys are all amazing.
Yeah, Davis the Reaver's on the cover.
Yeah,
and he looks like a cheat. That's actually probably the best picture of him because in the adventure he looks kind of like a cheese ball, right? With the stroking the beard and all.
I kind of like that picture of him stroking the beard a little bit because it's a little. I think I kind of imagine him as being like that, and then having these deadly depths to because he's a little bit unhinged.
Yeah, he's a little off. That is so true. So another thing about this. There's Henry Blair. Let me get down to Elred. Another thing about this was before this came out, and there let's also talk about the oh my God, what are they called? The Malenti, right? Malenti. Word got out to me during when I had Sean Reynolds on it. He did a prequel at Gen Con for this, right? Called like Cross Swords or and I said, well, you didn't, if you could somehow that could fall in my hands, I'll run it. And he actually got it to me roundabout. So I don't want to get him in trouble. So, but I ran it and it was cool. It had the Malenti in it, and it was a prequel toward this book. and I really was appreciative of it. And it was neat. And that's the first time the Malenti actually appeared in anything, was his prequel. So, and these guys, I think, will appear in the Sea Devils, kind of. So, what are your thoughts on this? I guess, are they trying to get the what do you call them? Oh my God, from the U series, my brain just shut off. The evil underwater creatures.
The Shagan?
Yeah, yeah. Like these are mutated Shahagwin, but the Shahagwin hunt them and kill them. Like, is this necessary or is it a cool thing? I was just like always, I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, about the Malenti. It's just yeah. It is what it is, right? Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Because I'm like, you know. And they had, there's some things that, you know, I know Anna is not a fan of. And that is, well, that's Cantona. This is one of my favorite places. Why is that?
Cool.
Yeah?
Cantona is cool. I'm
The
not super. The map, the just a straight coastline like that. They probably not build a port like
that's
that.
That's it, BB. Crossbows and crossbones. That's it.
But apart from that, it's really cool. They have the magic kind of negating zone and suppress it and stuff. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, it's got this anti-magic zone. I've run adventures here. No, but I'm just saying the weaponry inside it.
Oh, okay.
It's got. Does anyone remember the original Doctor No? The dragons on the island. The dragons on the island, right? It's just like a little mini like made up tank and it breathes fire, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I don't like that. So you're completely right. Yeah, yeah.
So there is a flamethrower here, a war wagon, and wheel mantlet. They got all these like mini technology pieces here, which I kind of liked, but I'm like, it's a little too far. So
I would have been okay with the flamethrower if they would have tied it in somehow into Grimslade from
the
slave.
Yeah, I mean, that could be as fantasy as anything.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's like a device that throws fireballs. That's simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I remember the one gentleman got killed by it. But so there's some things in here that are a little, you know, they pushed a lot of. I love the adventuring party in here too. Here's more Aspis. They appear. The adventuring party picture is also. I would have loved. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. Here's Elred. I mean, just there is, and this guy Braxham. I've used him multiple times. Him with the undead Drider. You know, that's a freaking skeletal Drider. What a cool idea that was.
Yeah.
And all his other Bone Colossus. This comes right from Q1. And this is the adventuring group. The entire adventuring group is here. Every member of it is in this picture, and I just love the artwork. So, from Slavers, and this is basically a campaign setting. You could run adventures off of it if you kind of know what direction you want to go, and we did. So, in fact, we have a group that was called the Slavers, and it turns out now they're in Altamira, and we call them the Knights Against Slavery. You know, and they're like the highest rated group out of Altamira now. And they're a bunch of Nightingale characters. Yeah. There's all the tie-ins to some things. And I know you love tie-ins, Carlos. I know you're going to talk about some now. So, all right, let's go to A5 here. Let's go with a synopsis on after Slavers, after they fight like Kale and Lekos, and maybe the good guys win or not. Let's assume they win, and then Marquesa takes off. All right, what happens?
What bum wrote this first? Anyway, but yeah, the idea with this is that after the whole slave lords thing ends up ending, I had the conceit that the local people around the area still wanted. The slave lords had been smashed as an organization, but much like the Horn Society now, they were scattered. And that there were people that moving around, much like Nazi hunters, that wanted to take out the remaining slave lords and make sure that their evil was taken care of forever. Because there were still like little cells of the organization moving around everywhere and doing whatever. So that was the conceit of how Kill Marquesa started out, is that there was a character in that acts as the party's patron, who ends up sending the party to kill Marquesa. Because she's located one of her bolt holes that she's in. She's there with Stern Buckholz, and that was this is the module that got everything started for me on as far as Castle Entertainment goes. It's the very first one I ever did.
Wow.
I wish I had a do-over on it in some ways, in some respects, because I'm a far better module writer than I was at this point in time. But at the same time, I can't help but have a super soft spot in my heart for this module.
Yeah,
Of course.
You can go back and once it's 10 years since you released it, you can make like a 10-year Jubilee update or something.
I could, and
yeah. Then
Yeah.
you can just make a new
It's
version.
almost, you don't have that long.
Yeah, then you
Yeah,
can
it's,
rewrite it the way you
scary
would
enough.
like it now. Yeah, and then I think you should.
That was a fun. I'll never forget writing that module, running it at GaryCon. I ran it for a party of 12, one of which was Luke Gygax.
That's awesome.
And I'm sitting there, and Mike Bridges is a member of that group. And after it was done, I was like, okay, great. And I'm putting all my stuff away, and somebody realizes that I have a print copy of it, and they're like, oh my God, what is that? And can I get it? And I just had made it as a lark, just something fun for me to have. And I was like, you actually want this thing? And I realized, wow, people are willing to buy this. This is crazy.
Absolutely.
So that's how Kill Marquesa started, and after that, everything rolled out from there. But yes, I'm. This module will teach players the power of the spell Project Image.
Yeah, which is a tough one to DM.
Oh God, it's such a nasty spell. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in there, and Marquesa is. I did realize this module over here has a lot of places to die in it, and I also did something fun with Marquesa in it. I wanted to make her evil even more visceral than it ever had been before. I wanted to make some of the stuff that she did to people in her experimentations be really, truly disturbing. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with the Aspis eggs, that one character. Yeah, I did some bad stuff in there to people.
Well, it's okay. Like I said, I grew up with Tim as a kid, so I've been scarred for a long time, Carlos, so it's okay. Yes, with Tim whipping people's feet off with zombies, so yeah. All right, you do need to go down that, and I've linked it. Here's the site again, because also you can get this, right? Carlos and myself did this, Hard in the Holes there.
That's
so
true.
There you go. Yep, on that site. All right, that's A5. Let's go to A6. I got them all.
A6 was based. I'd done the first two modules I'd written. The second module I'd ever written was actually C7 and Nomine Septem. But I was asked to go ahead and come back the next year, and everybody was really interested in doing another Marquesa or another because they never got a chance to kill her. Obviously, she's a little bit more powerful than the player characters in A5. So she managed to escape, and everybody wanted another shot at her. So I decided I would write Die Marquesa Die, which actually has one of my favorite NPCs I've ever written in there, which would be the paladin, anti-paladin of Cyril is one of her henchmen in there.
I'm going to say something a little jokingly here.
Go ahead.
I thought you and Len didn't get along on Facebook back then, and you used a Len deity.
I don't. Just because I didn't get along with Len doesn't mean I would disrespect him.
I know. I'm just saying.
Important figure in GREYHAWK. You gotta give credit to your OGs.
Right, I know. It's just Len was tough back then on Facebook. I mean, that's how I met him.
Shattered Saint, the title actually is an in-joke with me, which is there's an old blaxploitation movie called Blackula.
Yeah,
that refers to Scream Blackula's Scream. is Die Marquesa Die.
That's awesome. It's so cool. So in this one, once again, though, she's getting away. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, she's going to get away in this one mostly because of the way that I've constructed the modules, the whole the geometry of it makes it very difficult to capture.
Right.
And I do remember when they finally did find her, when during the play test of this, I actually thought they might have a chance because of the way it eventuated, but they didn't give a chance.
What about and at Gary Con they didn't either?
No, not at Gary Con either.
Okay.
They did in the next one though.
Well, didn't Anna kill her in the
Anna
next one?
knows because she was there.
Yep, and that is this one. My Kissa, the name is evil. It jumped up levels too on this one, 9 to 12.
Yep. At this point in time, what I was doing is because I wanted there to be a tie. I realized now that there was going to be tie-ins between the modules. You have to remember, at this point of my of Castle Entertainment's development, I was finding my way a lot. I was kind of still figuring out who I was as a designer and figuring out how things were working.
Yep.
So I was actually now at this point, I was adapting the character sheets internally based on what had happened in the last adventures. But yeah, this was the module that where Marquesa finally met her end at the end, and Anna was there for it. She was part of the group that played in the final.
Mike Bridges playing in that one too?
Negative.
Yeah.
I don't believe he was.
No, he wasn't. Magnus was. Yeah, Magnus. Hang on a sec. We played one adventure with you at Gary. Well, anyway, yeah.
This is 2018.
Yeah.
I believe this is the one that I was going, and then I won a trip for work that I had to go to. It was the same exact weekend to Florida. I was going to go to this one, and I couldn't, unfortunately. Yeah. So.
And as you can see, the art on there for her is based strictly on the Mike Lowe version.
Yeah. Absolutely. Excellent. So, you just said 3 was enough, right? A trilogy is perfect. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, I wanted to move along from Marquesa a little bit too, because at that point in time, people were knowing me as the Marquesa guy.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, and not that I had a problem with that per se, but I didn't want that to be the only thing I was known for. So, and I thought that also, there's such a thing as people wearing out their welcome, and I didn't want this to be a situation where she was kind of this people were rolling their eyes that she's back again and again and again. So,
well, it worked, and they're really cool, and someone's going to get all 3 of them tonight in PDF.
Oh, so I can't wait for them to get.
So there you go. Someone's going to win all 3 of them. This one is the one we were talking about that is A2 revisited, which is awesome. So you want to tell the synopsis on this?
Yeah, sure. This one is basically Icar and Blackthorn being her henchmen at that point in time. Icar has a little bit different of an opinion on Marquesa at this point in time. He's trying really to reforge the slave lords or at least he's working at the behest of Slippery Keta to reforge the slave lords.
Right.
And he's trying to he's going with what he knows basically and trying to start up this stockade again.
Which makes total sense, as we both agree. So just in a little different way, and but that doesn't mean I can't run this one either in a future point when
right.
Yeah, in ruins. So, so those are the 2 main culprits here. In this one, this one's lower level, so you're not going to run this straight through. This is going to be a different group.
No, what I did was on this at this point in time, and this is a very important point. I'm glad you brought that up. This uses different pre-gens than the Marquesa series did.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to do is I did not want. There was not an appetite at that point in time from my fans and people who are enthusiasts of my work to do ultra high level adventures. They wanted something a little bit more reasonable. So what I decided was that the patron of the adventurers that was working to destroy the slave lords was using multiple groups. So this is a different group of
Makes sense.
adventurers than the ones that were in the A5 through 7. I think a lot of people wonder why A8 and subsequent adventures are so low or lower level. That's why.
It almost goes the way of my guys, where we get up to 11th, 12th level, and all right, we should be doing other things, maintenance. We should be out there running keeps and all, and you really want to reset. Unlike, and I'm not not bashing 5e, but a lot of those 1 through 20 adventure pass, and then you're done with the character, and the character does nothing after that. I prefer it the other way. I prefer multiple characters interacting with each other. I think it's the way to go. I mean, yeah,
I do too. I do too. And
yeah.
just as an aside too, I guess I'm burying the lead a little bit here, but I've mentioned several times this patron who's opposing the slave lords. The patron that's opposing the slave lords is actually a GREYHAWK canon character. It would be Sky the Lioness.
Yep.
Back from Return of the Eight.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little older now, obviously.
Right, and she's big in the next one too, and I know that because I have it all prepped up and ready to go. Just it's a matter of timing on it. So here we go. Let's go to A9.
Thanks so much, Dark Elf. I really appreciate you saying that. It's very kind.
There you go. Thicker than water, A9.
At the point in time I wrote Thicker Than Water, it was probably the best thing. I sat back and I thought this is probably the best thing I've ever written.
It's good.
I was really happy with the way it turned out. Mostly because I was really concerned about doing justice to an original slave lord like Slippery Keta, who you can see in the cover there. And I was really, really pleased with the way she turned out. And when I got that art from my artist at that point, that's Dan Govar who did that art.
Yeah.
I was just so pumped because that art is one of my favorite cover art pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in any case, the idea behind it is that Slippery Keta is kind of the one that is reforging the slave lords. She's the overarching. She's one of the survivors of the original group, and she's decided to reforge the organization. She's protecting a clone of Marquesa.
Yeah,
and one of the things that she has in there, among other things.
Right, and there are also there are some people who appear in A8 in here too.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, there are. Along with the original chick who's in the closet in A2. Right? Yep, yes, exactly. She's in here too. So, yeah. So it's perfect.
I'm burying it a little bit in there. I want there to be some surprises.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I love to do in my work is I love to do callbacks to other GREYHAWK products. Especially because I know that some of the players that play in it will have seen or know some of these other characters. So I really love the idea for them to get to interact with them again, or at least touch on pieces of their history.
Right. No, absolutely. And these are all six level and color maps too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
and as you guys can see through my work, like Ghost Cat Loch over here, one of the things I really like to do is we progress with Castle Entertainment. I do, as I get more wherewithal, either whether it be I can commit more financially to the products or I get more time or whatever, we try and do better and better and better products. Like, for example, you can see that full color map there by a professional cartographer. I think that's Glenn Seal in there, if I remember. Who does stuff for Astonishing Swords and Swordsman, Piper Borea, among other products. We're boasting a lot of interior art now. A lot of my other products did not have interior art. I don't believe actually A9 does either, but we try and include that now in every product. It's a matter of you grow and you get better.
So after this one,
thanks Gary. I appreciate you saying that. It's very kind.
The very end.
Yep, this one was the last one.
And she's on the cover there, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, as you notice, it's my ode to Jeff D and A3. It's our definite homage to that.
Yep.
Crescendo and Coda. Essentially, what ends up happening is the slave lords. I always hate the fact that that the bad guys are always reactive and they go on the defensive all the time in different modules. Basically, the whole conceit of A10 is Slippery Keta and the rest of the slave lords get pissed and they're attacking the tower in which Sky the Lioness is at in Hardbeat. And
Yes.
which used to be Dredelgath's tower, as a matter of fact, but or Leander in my parlance anyway. But so you'll see all the remaining slave lords in here because they're bringing the house. They're going to kill Sky the Lioness, who's holed up inside of there. And yeah, that's basically the whole conceit of it. I mean, I brought people in from like in the back
Look
cover.
at this, Pyera.
Yep, exactly. I was just about to bring her up.
Brother
I bring everybody back from the older stuff. There's Brother Kieran, right?
So it works so that it fits. I just have to figure out when it makes sense for me to bring that so that the house is going to come down upon the slave trade for a while by running these, right? Because my guys don't play, don't take prisoners. You know what I'm saying? With my players, they're and
Sure.
there's going to be a lot of death, but they're probably, they're going to last them in the laconic.
Yep, that's Lamonston the Lazy.
Oh, okay. I couldn't.
Yep.
What? Yeah, I was like.
Yep, there's my illusionist, and boy, does he do a number on the PCs. He's in the top part of the reaches of the tower, and I have given him a chance to set up there. And boy, he's got some good stuff waiting for the PCs up there.
Yeah, Maze is one of the most devastating, and it's all. And whoever decided that Maze was an 8th level mage spell in first edition, but it was only a 5th level illusionist spell. Oh my god. It's such a devastating spell at that level. But yeah, so and Phantasmal Killer is a great one too. You just gotta know who the dummies are in the party. That's usually easy to figure out. The barbarian types or the.
It sure is.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Going after them and just hitting that Phantasmal Killer on them. So all right, so this is the ending.
That's the ending, and well, it's the ending if you win.
Right, if you lose, it's bad.
Don't win. I have in the back a whole description of what happens if the PCs lose too.
Oh, we'll save that for someone who gets it, who gets the event.
You just skipped that character Simon Galavar that you just missed. That was Gregory Justinius's.
Oh, cool.
Kind of fun trivia question there.
Yeah, it's good to have close people in the community that you can really just say, "Hey, how'd you like it? How did it go when we played in it?" And that's so. What was the ending of what happened in the ending on your playtest?
The player characters made it down to the
straight mage,
to the absolute nadir of the tower, which is where Slippery Keta was. They actually missed the area in which Sky the Lioness was holed up, which kind of screwed them a little bit in the end because they didn't get a chance to avail themselves of her power. So actually, Keta escaped in the playtest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Keta makes sense.
But everybody else over here, just about everybody else went out. Everybody else they managed to clear out just about everybody else.
Okay.
I do remember that they had a lot of trouble with that Earth Elemental at the beginning. That with Piera there, they had a lot of trouble.
Especially if they don't have the right pluses on weaponry,
Yeah, that's something else I like to do or not do in adventures. I don't necessarily will give PCs the entire equipment to beat a monster, not right up front.
Right, they got to find it, or they got to use a spell, or they got to use it. Yeah.
Or what they may have to do is they may have to run from it, and when they find something to kill it later on in there, they have to decide: do we want to go back and clear out that Earth Elemental now? I think that's kind of one thing that people that old school players will remember about D&D is that there's a real value to running away. You're not going to beat everything right up front. Reconnaissance is very important, and I don't think that you should be able to kill everything right away. I think that
No.
that's it's important.
So, Carlos, this is what happens all the time in mine with demons and devils and elementals and juju zombies even.
Mhm.
The bow people are, because once again, it's great. It's called the Annemeyer doctrine, right? They're shooting no matter what. They're shooting in melee combat. They're shooting, and these arrows are bouncing off because you need magic, So they don't care. They're shooting like crazy, and half the arrows aren't doing anything.
I have a theory about demons. You mentioned demons, and I was talking to a buddy of mine about this the other day. And my theory about demons is you have exactly 1 round to kill a demon, because if you don't, you're done. Because of gate, you have 1 round. You better
Right.
make good.
I think gate's too powerful for them
You better
gating other
make it
demons.
good. Because once it gates, if it gates, those other things are going to gate, and you're getting a multiplying situation that you are not going to be able to have an outcome from that you like.
I can
So
see
you-
that happening in areas
Yeah.
where there's a temple of IUs or something. I think that's overpowered. So ILL, limited amount of gating opportunities, or the ones that are gated, and I say cannot gate for a certain amount of turns. You know what I mean? To
Well,
make
gate
it.
can fail too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
I mean, most demons
Thanks,
can
Kevin.
only gate like once a day.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's an end all be all situation.
Right.
But I do say that
It's a good point.
as a general doctrine, if you get 1 chance, so you better make it good. And you're also dealing with eternal creatures that live forever and are eternally patient.
Yeah.
So they don't mind waiting a while to come back.
Guess who loves using gates once the first one comes in? Who do you think?
Who?
I'll put the emote of him in chat. How's that sound?
Oh, never mind. I already know.
Yes, and there's a new one. There's a new Ever Mysterious Tim emote. So, yes, the Crazy Wizard emote. So there you go. Yeah, he does. Another thing he does, because a lot of them have teleport without error. He'll grab a character of mine and he'll teleport 2 miles up in the sky and then let go.
All right.
Yes, yes, yeah. Tim Gates alive. That's all right.
It
Well,
gives you
here's
plenty
what's
of
gonna
rounds
happen.
to escape. Yeah.
Okay, you're
You
fighting
better
this.
you better have a ring of feather falling or something. If
Oh,
you're
you got
I'm seeing up in here. I'm seeing up in the comment. It's in the chat. Some
2
comments.
miles up gives you 10 rounds or 8 to 10
If you're
rounds before
dealing with a
ground.
demon, all right.
Yeah.
This demon's going to look at you. You got to remember that you're dealing with an intelligent foe.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And with a lot of spell-like abilities. This demon is going to look at you and is going to immediately cast teleport without error to a place where he can go. Now that he's back there, he's going to start doing the gate.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Things like that. I mean, they're thinking. Okay, this is a dynamic
True.
foe. So, you got to always. A lot of things that were set up there about like disrupting gate and things like that. I agree with that. That's true.
Yeah.
But you got to get that opportunity to disrupt it, and I'm not going to let you take shots at me right to do that.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to gate right away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go somewhere and then I'm going to gate and then we're all going to come back like 50 of us and then you're screwed.
I also have it that it depends on fiends that come that you encounter on the prime material plane can be there in 2 different ways. They can either be have gone there physically, or they can project in, meaning they're summoned one way or projected in. If they're projected in, they can't die, meaning they will fight viciously. And if you kill them, they will come back very soon again to haunt you again, because you're not killing them. You're just killing their aspect presence. So they have no real risk. They take very little risk on fighting you, and they can gate in. But if they're in there for real, that means that they are way more powerful, but they're also way more careful.
Yeah.
So to speak. So and that means that if they're there for real, you can't detect them the same way you can when they're projected in. So there's like pros and cons for both sides, so to speak. But since most of them are projected in, that means that they are nasty as heck because they can fight to the death quickly, so and don't need to worry about dying, so they don't need to surrender or anything like that. They can just go on, and if you kill them, well, they know your number and they can come back again. So yeah.
Carlos,
Yeah,
let's
it's just it's one of those things that if you're and we're off track from slave
no,
lords
it's
a little bit,
okay. That's a great
yeah.
discussion.
but yeah, I think that you got to remember these, your demons and your devils. You're talking about foes that are intelligent, and they look at time differently than mortals do. And yeah, their motivations are different, and you can justify how they act in different ways and such. But if you're just trying to play this as rules as written,
Oh, they're nasty.
okay, they're going to screw you.
Yep.
That's like the least amenable kind of foe you want to fight is your demon or your devil. They just have the native abilities are just too disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and no wizards and stuff, and they don't take abjure banishment. They don't take those spells.
Yeah.
No one takes those spells. You know, so they're high level. Are the slave lords the best villain group in Greyhawk? We are all in agreement they will never see official print again. The answer to my opinion, I'll take the slave lords 1,000,000 times over the Scarlet Brotherhood. I hate the Scarlet Brotherhood. I like the Scarlet Brotherhood where they are. Stay out of the western side of the map. I love Scarlet Brotherhood was in Strandkeep Castle in the book. All right, and they got their ass kicked, and that happened in my game too. I don't want them in my freaking what do you call it?
I see the slave lords as an extension of the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Oh.
So it's part of their trying to reach out and power project, so to speak. They make these groups, help them into existence, support them and stuff in order to further their goals. So they fit into the bigger picture. So that's one way that the Scarlet Brotherhood manifest is through, because they want to operate through intermediaries, because that way they can stay hidden and don't risk it. Meaning, if things go to hell, it's the the slave lord's problem. If it's going really well, the Scarlet Brotherhood cash in on it. So that's the franchise problem. But Pat 66, that's a good point. And one of the reasons that I have it is that demons, if they start if a demon lord comes down to the prime material plane, if he projects himself in, that means that he uses a lot of his power in order to do so. He doesn't risk much more than he's busy doing it. But the thing is that if he starts projecting in a whole bunch of others, that is beyond his power, but he can teleport them in or get them in through a temple or something like that. But the problem is that if he brings a demon army to the prime material plane for real, that means that he misses them somewhere else. They can get slaughtered. But if he projects them in, that takes a heck of a lot of magic powers and stuff like that. It can also be detected. So an army like that will stand out. The good guys would know where to find it, so to speak. You can't hide it. So I try to make the rules that there are benefits and drawbacks both ways. So the evil ones are doing it to some extent. So if they want to be meaning a demon lord who wants to have someone murdered will probably send one of his henchmen for real to the prime material plane, who will act carefully and who can then gate in reinforcements real quick if things go bad. And that's the demon you definitely don't want to meet, because they're smart, savvy, and will gate in once they're, and he will stay stealthy and hidden and start a cult or something. And then when you confront it, that's when you will have to fight all his minions that are gated in, so to speak. Maybe even it's So it's one of these.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much, and that's why I don't fight demon lords in my game. We'll fight avatars of them, or the son of Orcus,
exactly.
but I don't want Orcus running around my game.
No. If you want to fight, if you need to fight them, first you have to fight their avatar several times. Then you have to go and fight their henchmen. Then you have to go down in the abyss to try and fight them there.
And
and that becomes such an undertaking that it's beyond.
Good luck surviving that first avatar encounter.
Exactly. Meaning first you have to survive that one, and then you have to So that
that's
you
why
don't
stay
do
away
it.
from it. So
Oh,
yeah.
no, for me. It's like sometimes if I want to have a TPK, there might be a demon lord who likes to state an example or something. So you never know. So yeah,
So I want to
and they
answer. Okay.
yeah. Sorry, go. Oh, please go on.
I wanted to answer old DM's question about Nulb.
Yeah.
I can see early, like maybe even Brother Karen or someone's of the thief abilities out there scouting as the Temple of Elemental Evil being run in those 570s, right? Early slavers. I can see that happening where they had someone out there and they're looking to move the tentacles out. I don't have a problem with that. You can make up an agent of the slavers.
Wherever there are people to be called
Yeah.
for to be sent to the Scarlet Brotherhood, I can envision there being a slave lord contact.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there will be. I'm just saying I can envision one.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes total sense. There, all the major cities now have them. Yeah. So it's something that it's part of the game. But good question. Any other questions as we wind this down? Look at that, 2 hours fly by.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, just note the following. My PC is happy. So. Oh yeah, absolutely. And the great thing is that the DM, as your DM, you're free to make up all those people, and they're not published source. So if they die, who cares, right? In your game, that's the great thing. You can make up a whole slew of the minions of the slave lords, and have them killed off. Well, slave lords have access to spelljammer vessels. I don't really care about just if they have access to spelljammer vessels or not. I'm sorry. I don't care if they can hop the Planescape or the Ravenloft either, right? I'm a Greyhawker, and that stuff makes my see my eyes now. They bleed a little bit when you talk about the Scarlet Brotherhood. My eyes pop right out of my head when we talk that stuff because
It's pure Greyhawk. It's been there since the beginning.
oh,
What's the
You're
problem?
you're gonna make Big Mac cry if you say that about Spelljammer. Now come on.
it's you don't understand the point I'm making. It just doesn't come into my Greyhawk. I know Malin uses it, but it's not my Greyhawk. That's all I'm saying.
You don't even use the right half of the map, so yeah.
I do, well, once in a blue moon
I'm
we
just
do.
kidding. Yes.
It's not as bad as the Barrier Peaks.
I agree, Gary. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta run something when you.
My bottom line for the slave lords is that organization, much like the Horn Society, they're going to be almost impossible to get rid of completely now.
Yeah,
because they are no longer centralized. You're going to see little pockets and cells of them all over the place, and there's nothing to say that the Brotherhood, the Scarlet Brotherhood, just doesn't shrug their shoulders and say, let's make another one."
Huh. And that's
There's
the thing.
nothing to say then.
That's the thing. Organizations never, an organization never goes away. How big is Jay's part of Earth? Big. Big, man. I'm sorry. I got to answer that. All right. Ready? All the Pomars, all here, all the Ulix, Altamira, Selene, Sus Forest, Hardby, all the Wild Coast, Greyhawk, all the Vespi Forest we adventure in, so all throughout the Lord Mill Mountains, right? There you go. It's big enough.
Yeah.
Oh, Shield Lands too. All the Shield Lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big enough.
It's interesting because sorry.
No, I'm just reading something from Gary. The idea of this is cooler than the execution. All right, yeah, Gary. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of this just it's going to be depending on your game. It's going to be there's Order of Yulk logos all over the place. Dark Elf, like Order of Yulk and Selene symbol. Order of Yulk and Greyhawk City symbol. Oh, you guys can't see them because I don't have it on that side. Oh my God, guys. Yeah, Order of Yulk in Greyhawk symbol. Order of Yulk in the Shield Land symbol. Order of Yulk in the Vespi symbol. See, so it's all over. So it's kind of contiguous. Where is it? Up all the way up here. There you go. So just an example. So A1 through A4 Adventures, though, just notice that there is an A0. Yeah, it's deep. Yes, and it was done by Skip Williams. Yep.
Yeah, it was released as a free download from Wizards, I think. Yeah.
So there you go, and it's part of the A0 to 4 series now. But for me, the SBs are Founders of Slave Lords. One of its supporting legs. They have 2 monks in here. Yep, part of the lucrative trade, and you mentioned being decentralized. Assume at least 1 or 2 of the Spelljammers. Now, I see. I don't know. I just it's not part of my Greyhawk. I prefer portals and I prefer that kind of connection. To get places. I'm not a Spelljammer guy. That's okay. It's not for
Well, I never use Spelljammer either,
Yeah.
but if you want to, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But I can't answer the question. All right, so first giveaway will be A5 or one of the two, A5, A6, A7 in PDF, and the other one will be A8, A9, and A10 in PDF. Pretty damn good, right?
Yeah, Uncle Fuss. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
It was part of the 0
yes,
to
it did.
4.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Which is a great book we showed earlier that Carlos. I didn't realize that Mike Bridges, and I knew Chet said he had something in there, but Mike Bridges and Scott Casper and all of them have art in there. It's really awesome. All right, so in closing, Anna, what are your thoughts?
It's a cool villain, cool faction that is also tied into almost the entire history of Greyhawk publication, and thanks to Castle Entertainment, Carlos, it's been now part of fandom and as well, which I think is really really cool to build it. And the other thing that now I'm going to put on my political analyst hat for a minute here, which I think is cool because the slave lords follow the pattern of real world political organizations, especially the ones that are very dubious in nature, like terrorist movements and stuff. That first they come as a cult, then they become a well-organized machine, so to speak, and after that they start. Once they're being defeated, as they usually they rise up, and then when they become big and powerful as an organization, they might even run a territory and stuff. Then they meet opposition, and they are usually defeated in that sense. But then they come back as an idea, a franchise, and an ideology, which means that they often come back way more powerful later on, and but the problem is that then they are an idea that others take up. They use their symbols and stuff, and they spread everywhere. And people think that, oh, it's the original organization. No, it's not. It's just the idea lingers and becomes stronger afterwards. And that is a metaphor that you can see is many different movements. I'm not going to name them because we don't need, but that is a thing that has worked in real world. We see it even to this day. And this is something that makes, to me, in my opinion, makes the slave lords a believable, cool entity because it follows a lot of the trajectories of and motivations and how power works and stuff. So it's really cool. So and then and to me it's kind of awesome that it survived from the embryo in these early almost haphazard, like quick put together convention modules and then being published in various settings and added to the history. And now, thanks to Castle Entertainment, got an awesome afterlife and stuff as well. So in that sense, it's some of the, I would say, biggest success stories in Greyhawk publication. It's been there since the inception of the setting, and I've had an interesting life throughout the publication history of the setting. So it's good that we got a chance to talk about it tonight.
And we are very, very fortunate. And I want to say thank you so very much for Carlos for being on for a full 2 hours.
Definitely.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
What are your thoughts on this conversation tonight?
Well, the slave lords are awesome. I think that that they are collectively the Legion of Doom for the Greyhawk setting. I mean, there's so many individual amazing villains in there that each one could spawn a different campaign if you wanted to. But collectively, they're just overwhelmingly awesome as far as villains go. I think that every one of those modules that you mentioned could be its own spring its own campaign. Yes, Wiley, my white beard is going to go away soon, though. It's starting to really irritate me. But yeah, I think that my thoughts are pretty much that they are such a huge part of the Greyhawk canon as far as villains go, and the Central Flyness, which is really the heartland of where we do most of everything within the campaign.
Absolutely.
Uh, so I think that's no having including them in what you do as far as being a DM or your campaign is always a cool addition.
Agreed 100%.
You're
Absolutely.
right. You're right, Zudrak.
Yeah, minor. Yes, I know. Carlos loves ice hockey. Carl played ice hockey.
I did. I did.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Carlos, you got anything you want to shout out that's coming up?
Yes, I have just finished the new module. The new module is called Brass Blood Haunt. It is going to go out to patrons here in the next couple days. For my Patreon, the winning subject for a couple months ago was unexplored dungeons. And so what I decided, and somebody also wanted to see me expound on Carl Sargent's work some more.
Cool.
So I chose Brass Blood Haunt
Instead of Bronze Blood Hunt. That's
from
pretty.
the Marklands supplement.
Yep.
It is in the middle of Furiandi, in the county of Willop, which means it's in a peaceful area of Greyhawk, and it should be an area in which you think that there really shouldn't be much going on, except there's a lot going on in there. I decided to play a fun political game down there with it, which I'm sure Anna will appreciate. And it's a very low level module. It's for 0 to 2 level characters,
Oh,
but it's
cool.
also the first part of a trilogy.
Nice.
And I think yeah, a lot of my fans also wanted some low level stuff, so I decided to make one that's nice low level like that. And as we speak, I've got on the forge right there. The next thing I'm going to be working on is a sequel to the 9, which is my module that's set in the Sea of Medigia.
A very,
Awesome.
very underrated module. That thing is really cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Boy, that's a meat grinder of a module, but I loved it. I love that.
I requested from Amanda that being as one of the fundraiser giveaways. Definitely.
Yeah, he's throwing it out there for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Really cool.
Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier before I came on, and yeah, the 9 is one of those modules that's really near and dear to my heart because my wife and I we used to take walks around our block where I live in Ohio, and we would bounce ideas off of one another. And I had this idea for a 4-set module that it looked at a setting like an installation, a military installation, and I would deal with it, what happened to it through each season, whether it be spring, summer, winter, fall in succession. And the 9 was my spring module, and the next one will take place in autumn.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So it's kind of like this idea of different seasons and how military tactics and things like that adapt by the seasons, and the different things that you might have to deal with.
Great idea. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to hanging out with you at GaryCon. So it's not that far.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I have 4 official modules I'm running at GaryCon, and I've got a million offline things too that I'm doing as well. So if people are interested in playing with me at GaryCon, they can certainly have their opportunity to do so. Just either touch base with me or try and sign in one of the official games.
And we all know that GaryCon signups start in 2 days, 3 days for Diamond. So it's starting, everyone. So Anna, what do you got going on?
I just posted the last of the GIS digital series, the 1 to 2 million scale, the northern part of the Backlunish area. So that finish off that series. I covered the whole Flanies and Hepmona land with the new GIS digital maps. I'm working on a legend and an overview map for that one. And now it will probably be about a week or maybe even 2 weeks before I get the next one big thing published, because I'm working for Cannibal Publishing, getting a thing for Troy done, at least a majority done. So that will be well underway. And I'm trying to get some heraldry done in the meantime, and then also to get a print version of map ready for GaryCon. And then I have some other little surprises that I'm working on too. So hopefully I can get as much as possible done. So there's some cool stuff to show off at GaryCon. Yep. Oh, thank you, Draga here. Yep. That's the idea. So there's a bunch. So the first chapter of the conversion to GIS is done, so to speak. Now there's a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So there will be, for top patrons and stuff, there will be hopefully some screenshots and some cool things that what is in the making. I'm not going to spill the beans too much, because I want to run to do the first concepts and stuff of it. So, but it's so the first bit is done. That 1 to 2 million scale. Those are my best maps so far of Greyhawk, the whole bit. Because they are geographically accurate. They have the latitude, longitude stuff, and they have good grids and so on. So yeah.
Alrighty.
And
So
post a link to them here too.
yeah,
So
please
while
do.
Mhm.
For my GaryCon, if it starts, the three I'm DMing 4 times. One's Tower of Gygax, so that's open. I can't tell anyone when, where, what day or what time. All I know is that Kelsey, Dion, and I are DMing at the same time because there's 2 tables of it. So there you go. So for Glorious Wedding Day, there are going to be 4 open signups. The Deadly Challenge, that's Ed on Saturday, that's 3, and Riches Beyond Comprehension with the Slav Squad and Eric Mona, that's 3. So get them if you can. All right, I know Carlos's sell out as quickly, super fast in 30 seconds, and mine do too. And I really appreciate it, everyone. We all appreciate the support you show us all. And then I actually have a third one that Garner threw me in a seminar Friday night. I'm like, oh man, but I'll do that one as well, just to show you. Now tomorrow night we finish Mystery. Well, I don't know if we're finishing it or not. Mystery of the Abandoned, which is up a community on the border of the gnarly as we continue our Dark Druid line. These are some of the best pictures I've taken in a while of actual combat going on, with with the fight going right below, with the characters and all. We really got some nice close-up shots of this big battle in. Siren's Meadow, I called this place, which has been will be added to the map. But it's in ruins, so there's a dead knoll taken down by Winchester, and just all the war trolls, just some really nice close-ups of and all the ruins by Gamescape. So look at that. Even in the back, I love this mini there. There's a rope of climbing right there, mini, which is really neat. And so that is so that's where we left off. I had to put this all back on the table because I took it off for the Saturday game. So that is what's going on. And then Saturday at 1. So I have an ad on this. You're going to do another insert of Greyhawk people for the show guide. The answer to that is I'm working on that with Garner as we speak. Okay. I'll get to that and something else in a second. Adventure 191, Rumble in the Warehouse. So it's in Altamira. We got Coco. We got Heather Heck / Violence. If you don't know, her name is Violence. We got Sir Tim Korg, and we also added in Chad. Vamp Wickman's playing his Earth Elementalist in this. So that's the 5 characters for the group and 1 NPC. And that'll be, that's Nuclear Meat is the group. And Heather, she plays Cobra. It's basically Snake Plissken in D&D. Eye patch and all. It's really funny, Carly. She's great with it too. That is Saturday at 1. It's a 1 to 5 game. Okay. All right. So a couple things. I'm working on that for GaryCon. We're working on a Greyhawk Creatives publication. We're working on that. Lastly, the fundraiser's coming up, and I had a lot of conflicts. I had some issues. Both Luke and Ed are at Genghis Khan at the same time. So let's hope. Luke is helping me. I'm not going to give you names. I got a 50-50 shot right now based on schedule to have the biggest name I've ever had in the game, ever. for the fundraiser on that Saturday night. Let's all hope it happens. Biggest name I've ever had. So that's all I'll say. Cross your fingers, everyone. All right. So let's do the giveaways. And Carlos, thank you very much for everything, man. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Amanda's the driving force behind all that for sure.
Yeah, it was very kind of her to
Give
offer.
her a hug from us.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
We had a nice talk, if you know about.
Valkyrie needs the thumbs up for that one.
We had a nice talk about our situations too, and I understand everything. I really did. It's been a whirlwind year for me for health. Really
That's
been
pretty
bad,
crazy.
but so far so good this year. Well, double hip replacement coming after GaryCon, so too much. All right, ready? First winner, you got to tell me. Do you want the first three, or the second three? Okay, here we go. Intrepid Idiot.
There
Yeah,
you
great.
go.
Intrepid Idiot is on. Do you want A 5, 6, and 7, or do you want A 8, 9, and 10? You must let me know, or I'm going to pick a second person. If you don't say, then we'll have the second person gets to choose. I do need emails so that these can be sent out. Dat man, jeez, what are you like freaking psychic? So wow. All right, so let me go pick another one here. Scala Grimer. I know Intrepid. Oh, you got the first three. Okay, and Scala, you get the second three. Intrepid, send me your email, please, in chat. Scala, the same thing. Send me your email in chat. I may already have it. Just make it easy. I'll get them right to Amanda tonight, so that you'll get yours. All right, Scala, just whisper me it. Both of you, whisper me your emails that you want these to go to, and Amanda will do you the links. We're going to raid into Folk and Myth today, all right, with over 100 people. Grats. Thank you so very much, Carlos and Anna. What a great discussion. Keeping it rolling here at the beginning of the year with some really nice talk. We are working on, when Eric Moan is free, we're going to do a top 20 GREYHAWK adventures of all time, revisited like the Dungeon Magazine, Carlos. And if you want to participate in that, I think you probably would. When
When
comes
will
up,
this be?
don't have a date yet. It could be a month. It could be 3 months. But that'll be the one where it's just like the Dungeon Magazine, where you go over, and we're going to limit it to GREYHAWK ones, so we don't have to worry about anything from Planescape or any of that stuff. And go over our top 20 GREYHAWK adventures of all time. I think it'll be a fun discussion. So, all right, Scal, I got yours. All I need is Intrepid. All right, so we're going to raid in. See you all tomorrow night, 7:30, and then see you
Bye,
Saturday at
everyone.
1. Thank you all.
Bye bye, everybody.
I'm going to hit the wrong button. I know I am now that I got my stream deck back up. All right, let's go with a fresh 100 over to Folk and Myth here. That'd be awesome. Who's participating? Raiding in. Folk and Myth. Whew.
See you, Justinius.
Boy, that number's bouncing all over the place. 98. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thanks.
Bye bye.
It's a large
Bye.
number. Just make sure it went.
Yep. Went over. 67. Good.
Alrighty. What a great show. I'll say this, Carlos. You really